Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to go over the exact steps you need to take in order to pass your safe NMLS exam on your first try. So these are tips, tricks, and study habits that I found most useful when preparing for the exam. Okay, so let's start with some misconceptions about the exam and taking the test. So first off, you don't need to be an expert after taking the 20-hour pre-licensing course. After I took this course, I didn't know very much about the industry yet. I still had a lot of questions as to what came first, what came second, what this meant, what that meant. So don't be stressed out if you don't know anything about lending, about mortgages after the 20-hour licensing course. All right, second misconception is you don't need to memorize the entire textbook. I know that sometimes you can feel like, hey, if I just memorize the whole textbook, read it 50 times, then I'll pass the test because I'll know exactly what's on the test. That's not how it works. Secondly, you're probably not going to be able to memorize an entire textbook. So don't stress about memorizing the test. We're going to go over some helpful tips and strategies that you can do that will actually help you more than memorizing the whole book, if you could, the whole course book. So stay tuned for that. Don't worry about memorizing the whole textbook. Third misconception is you don't need to know a lot about the industry. So I'm new to the industry. I took the test, passed it on my first try, knew almost nothing about the industry, mortgages, lending, interest rates. I didn't even know what a refinance was until last year. So don't be stressed if you don't know anything about real estate, anything about interest rates, lending, credit. Don't worry about it. As time goes by, you will learn those things. As you get clients, you will learn those things. And you can also learn from the internet. Google's a great tool, just make sure it's credible. And also from your coworkers. I do that all the time. If I have a question, I just ask a coworker, ask my branch manager. So don't stress out about not knowing or being new to the industry. All right, the first thing you want to do after taking your 20-hour pre-licensing course is skim through your textbook. So I know before I said don't memorize it, and I do mean that. Do not memorize the whole book. But what you want to do is skim through the textbook. So grab the textbook, if it's physical copy or PDF. I had a PDF. Skim through the textbook and read it. You can take notes on it if you want. You can highlight if you want. But you don't need to stress too much about memorizing the whole thing or knowing every single little detail in the book. The textbooks are big, and this is not going to be the best use of your time if you're trying to get your license as soon as possible. Memorizing the book is not going to help you. It only plays a small determining factor when it comes to passing your test. So don't worry about memorizing the book, or if you don't know everything in the book, just skim through it so you know the data. If you memorize it, good. If you don't, that's fine. I have some other tips and strategies that will help you pass the exam. So that's the first step, just skim through the textbook. All right, the second thing you should do after taking your 20-hour pre-licensing course is grab a summary book. I'll link the exact one that I did down below. It's from Amazon. I think it was like 20 bucks for the Kindle version or PDF version, I'm not sure, but I'll link it down below. And it was recommended to me by another great YouTuber that's a loan officer, loan originator. And I'll also have her information down below if you want to follow her. And yeah, this is a great summary book. And what I really liked about this was that it put the steps in order. Because even after I took the 20-hour licensing course, even after I skimmed through the textbook, I still wasn't sure what happened, when, and where things went, how things happened. And this textbook, this summary book, really helped me with that because it condensed things and it made them simpler and put them in chronological order. And it's got 2 or 3 final exams that are like 100 questions at the end. So you're going to be getting a lot of practice in addition to the summaries. All right, so the third thing that you should do when it comes to studying for your safe NMLS exam so that you pass it on the first try is sign up with Compucram. So Compucram offers great tools, great studying tools, great tests for all licenses, I think. Well, a lot of licenses like real estate, your brokers, and obviously the safe NMLS exam. So I encourage you to sign up for this. I attribute about 80% of my success on the test to Compucram. So you don't want to miss this. I believe it's $150. If I can get a discount code for you guys, I'll try my best and I'll put it down below. If not, either way, I'll have the link. So yeah, Compucram made a huge difference. Like I said, it's $150. It's worth the investment because you don't want to wait an extra 30 days to take the test. You want to pass it on your first try, your first attempt. You don't want to go a second time, a third time, or after that third time, I know there's like a 6-month or 80-day waiting period. I'm not too sure, but it's a really long waiting period and you don't want to go through that. You want to pass the test as soon as possible so you can get licensed and start originating loans and making money. So I highly encourage you to make the investment. I didn't want to make the investment, and the way that Compucram works is it has a bunch of practice tests, it has a bunch of definitions, flashcards, and it has different tools if you like studying different ways. So if you like matching, it has a ton of content. I only use the tests. I didn't use flashcards, I didn't use the matching. I just took the tests until I got 100% or 90. So it's got a ton of tests. It's probably got like hundreds of different variations. And I kept taking them until I consistently got 90 or 100%. So I encourage you to do that as well if you get Compucram. If you want to do the flashcards, do this as well. But like I said, all that I did was the practice test, and those were enough to help me pass the exam on my first try. So just keep doing them. Try to get 100%, 90%, and if you can't get that, keep doing it. And it also has a little indicator on top, and it shows you how ready you may be for the exam. So that's the last tip that I have for you guys. But before I end this, I will also want to go over some study tips. That way you guys are most prepared for this exam. Alright, so the first study tip is have a set time every single day for studying. Don't just say, hey, I'm going to study tomorrow, I'm going to study for the entire week. Have a set time to study. Be like, hey, I'm going to study at 5 a.m., I'm going to study at 7 a.m., I'm going to study from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Make sure that you have a block time to study, because if you're just saying, hey, I'm going to study tomorrow, hey, I'm going to study Thursday, chances are you're probably not going to study, and if you do study, you're not going to be very focused because you haven't made the commitment to study at that time for that period of time. Alright, and the second study tip is to study daily a couple weeks before the exam. So if your exam is in 2 weeks or 1 week, you want to be studying every single day for about 4 to 5 hours. That's what I did. You can study less, you can study more, but I did about 5 hours every single day of Compucram the week before. So the week before, that's all I did, just Compucram every single day on those set periods of time. So I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, and Friday, and I studied in the morning for a chunk and in the afternoon for a chunk of time. So that's a study tip number 2. Make sure that you do it every day when you're getting closer to the exam. Alright, so the third study tip is come up with cool, fun, interesting acronyms to help you memorize things from the textbook. So one thing that I did was I came up with cool, funny things that help me remember certain rules, certain information. For example, I believe that the CFPB regulates or has something to do with Dodd-Frank, and in my mind, I just memorized it as, hey, Frank likes peanut butter. And I got that from the CFPB. So whenever I saw CFPB, I thought Dodd-Frank, because I thought Frank likes peanut butter. So do things like that. This is super helpful. I did this as much as I could, and it really helped me when it came to the exam, because when you're in there taking the exam on the computer or however it is, you're pretty worried, you're pretty anxious because you want to pass it, and sometimes you can forget. And things like this, Peanut Butter Frank, can help you pass the exam because they're simple, they're light, they're funny. So that's a third tip that I recommend, that I encourage you guys to do, is come up with cool, funny acronyms. Alright, so that's pretty much it. If you follow those 3 steps along with the study tips, I promise you, you will pass the exam on your first try. Just keep studying Compucram, get that summary book. I'll have the link below. Do as many practice tests as you can. Try to reach for the 100 mark. Try to be there consistently. The week before, I kept shooting for the 100. If I didn't get 100, I took the test again. So make sure that you do that. Those last 2 steps were the most important. And be sure to keep those study habits in mind. You want to do it every day. You want to have set periods of time. And you want to come up with cool, interesting acronyms to help you memorize some of the information. If you guys like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. I make a lot of content on personal finances, entrepreneurship, and also life improvement. Thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video, and be great.